with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus told his disciples this parable. A man going on a journey called in his servants and entrusted his possessions to them. To one gave 5 talents, to another 2, to a third 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. Immediately the one who received 5 talents went and traded with them, and made another 5. Likewise the one who received 2 made another 2. But the man who received 1 went off and dug a hole in the ground and buried his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came back, settled accounts with them. The one who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing the additional 5. He said, Master, you gave me 5 talents. See, I have made 5 more. His master said to him, Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy. Then the one who had received 2 talents came also forward and said, Master, you gave me 2 talents. See, I have made 2 more. His master said to him, Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you are faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy. Then the one who had received the 1 talent came forward and said, Master, I knew you were a demanding person, harvesting where you did not plant, and gathering where you did not scatter. So out of fear I went off and buried your talent in the ground. Here it is back. His master said to him in reply, You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I did not plant, and gather where I did not scatter. Should you not then have put my money in the bank, so that I could have got it back with interest in my return? Now then, take the talent from him and give it to the one with 10. For everyone who has, more will be given, and he will grow rich. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And throw this useless servant into the darkness outside, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
I have been a missionary in the Netherlands for 7 years now, and what is something different as a practice of this country in comparison to the Philippines is that their funeral preparations and funeral mass is very demanding, because it is part of their practice that the funeral must be considered as something personal, and that the homily of the priest must be also personal, even you don't know the person. No? So that's it now. In order to do that, you have to arrange an appointment with the family. So normally in the Philippines, the family will go to the parish, but there you have to go to the family members. And you have to talk about what is the order, because some of these people are not anymore churchly, so they don't know about the Mass. So that's the first thing that you have to do. You have to reintroduce them the order of the Mass, and then which part of the Mass they can contribute. And the next part is to ask something about the person. Now, so when speaking about the homily that we have just heard is one of the common homilies. Common gospels. the gospel that we have just heard is one of the common gospels that we can hear in funeral mass. And this is about the parable of the talents. But only the difference is that the last part, where Jesus said something not good to the person who has one talent, that should be skipped in the living. Otherwise, there will be war afterwards. No. So that is it. So that is the talents, and then if the person is very talented, this is the fitting gospel that you will read before the people, and you try to develop, considering also the talents of the person. Now, speaking of talents, now we as missionaries, the talent that we could bring to other countries is our own charism. But there is a little problem with our charism, because if we compare our charism with others, theirs is more tangible than ours, no? Because if we are to say our charism, we just say ours is a joyful missionary spirit, willing to be spent in sharing the gospel to all. But for others, it is very obvious, it's very clear, it's very tangible. Working for the sick, working for the prison, and then involved in the education. So these are more, I would say, tangible talents. So this is this charism that we have is what we are bringing, and we try also this to grow in the place where we are being sent to. But not only congregational charism, we can have also personal talents and gifts. And people there are also expecting that from you. Like in my case, when they heard that I was teaching theology in the Philippines, that is also the thing that they try or they expect that I will do there. No? But in the beginning, it was very difficult, because I was still less than a year, and then I was told to teach in a theological institute for the lay people. So imagine, less than a year. How many words have you learned in that span of 1 year? Siguro mga 50 lang, no? 100 words. So that's why it was very difficult, no? At the beginning. And then on the following year, I was again told, okay, out of necessity, you have to teach the seminarians a theological course. And that was still for me, it was still difficult. But now that I have been teaching there for the past 6 years, I think 6 years, and yeah, you can see now how grace also works in you, no? And that is the problem with the person, the third person mentioned in the parable, because he did not waste or lose talent, but he only missed the opportunity to experience the generosity of God, and the opportunity also to pay it back with your own generosity. And that was the problem with the third person, because the two, they were so generous as a payment for the generosity of God. And in fact, after that, they were also rewarded by their master. And that was my experience. No? At the beginning it was difficult, but if you have the heart to let it grow, or or if you have the heart to share it, then that is where also the generosity, the grace of God works in you.